Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now. The Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul
They're gonna run out of cheeseheads soon!
The Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now. The Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, about now, about now, about now.
What is poppin', y'all? It's your man Cowboy Bells, and welcome to another episode of Wisco Sports Weekly Wednesday Predictions. We are to the third week of the NFL season, and obviously I think things are going very smoothly. Well, I guess not that smoothly, but you know what? We've already experienced so many injuries this season, it's just been hard to deal with that. Obviously, we saw Nick Chubb. Honestly, is the same thing that happened to him like 8 years ago happened again to his leg. That's one of the worst things you could see. Obviously, prayers up to him. Hopefully, he heals fast. But you know what? Obviously, football it's a dangerous sport. It's always been that way. But you know what? We've got some good games, and you know what? I think we're starting to already see who are some good teams and who are some bad teams. There are a lot of things that I don't think know yet, but I think we have a lot to determine. So without further ado, if you like what you see, comment below, subscribe. All right, let's get down to our games this week. Thursday, first we have the I'll call them the New Jersey Giants still. New Jersey Giants facing the San Francisco 49ers. Technically, I'd say the Giants should be 0-2, but yet again, they were facing the Cardinals last week, and their fans are acting like they're so cool when they really just came up back against a team that realistically shouldn't even win a game this season. So, to me, this was just awful. Also, they lost Saquon Barkley to an injury. What a surprise. They're facing a complete 49ers team that honestly looks like they're just going to win it all this year. I mean, they just look so good right now. I feel like San Francisco has not lost a game ever since they got Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy and has became the starter. I'm going to say San Francisco gets the win. All right, on to Sunday. Tennessee Titans at the Cleveland Browns. Tennessee is honestly one of the most underwhelming teams. They may have won last week, but to me, it's like I don't feel like I should really pick them because I just don't think they're that impressive. Their offensive line sucks. I just think they need a new game plan. You gotta bench Tannehill at some point. I don't know what they're gonna do. I know they're facing Cleveland, but it's like, I don't really even believe in Cleveland either. But if I had to pick, I don't know. I feel like I have to pick Cleveland. I have no idea why, but that's how I feel. Then next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Detroit Lions. Atlanta, weirdly enough, is 2-0, but I feel like it's only the start of the season, so I feel like there's just not much to see right now. Detroit actually did lose last week to Seattle, but Seattle seems to have their number. I don't know why. But I feel like we're going to see a good bounce back by Detroit. I feel like Detroit should win this game. Let's just sit that in there. Next up, we have the New Orleans Saints versus the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay's got their first home game of the season. Jordan Love, obviously, is going to be welcomed by a plentiful crowd. I feel like the Packers just are going to win this just because this is his first home game. That's just how I see it. I mean, New Orleans is 2-0, but I just don't think that they're that impressive. I think their defense is the only reason why they really are close wins. Next up, the Denver Broncos taking on the Miami Dolphins. Miami looking really impressive so far this season. Denver, despite them being 0-2, they don't look that bad. I mean, that's something I can say. They're actually putting up points, which is good. But I feel like they're unfortunately going to be 0-3 because Miami has just looked really good to start the season so far. Yeah, I'm going to say Miami. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Minnesota Vikings. And realistically, honestly, these two teams are both 0-2. Those are both playoff teams last year. Realistically, two offenses that are having good seasons really so far, and they both lost these games. I don't know what to really say and who to even pick in this one, but yeah, I don't know. Hopefully another loss for the Chargers finally makes them realize their coach needs to get fired. I'm going to say Minnesota. Next up, New England Patriots versus the New Jersey Jets. Yeah. Without Aaron Rodgers, they looked awful last week. The Jets looked miserable. Yeah, I don't know if I don't believe they're going to be that good. Yeah, I think they'll win games because of their defense, but this just isn't good at all. And of course, they're going to face the Kryptonite team. Obviously, Zach Wilson still cannot beat this team, and I'm assuming they won't again. I'm going to take the Patriots, of course. Next up, the Buffalo Bills taking on the Washington Commanders. I guess Buffalo I consider to be regular season, but they did dominate last week. They got to win. I'm assuming they'll beat the Washington did I say football team? Commanders again. Yeah, Buffalo should win this one. Next up, Houston Texans at Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville's got a young defense. They're going to look really good. Trevor Lawrence, I feel like, as I said, I'm like, I think he's going to be MVP, but it's too early to really tell. Yeah, so far, Houston's just looking not that good. I feel like Jacksonville will win this. They should. Next up, Indianapolis at Baltimore Ravens. When I thought of Indianapolis, I thought they were going to be, awful. And then, you know what? They're not that bad as I thought. Anthony Richardson, I think his athleticism is going to actually do something for them. I don't know if he'll really last as a quarterback, but it wasn't a bad pick. But Baltimore is looking really good to start the season, and I think they're going to continue their success and win this game. Next up, going into the 3 o'clock games, we have the Carolina Panthers taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Carolina just does not look that good at all. As much as I want to sit there and say, Bryce Young is hopefully going to turn this franchise around, I just think they need another year to really get the pieces all together. Plus, Bryce Young's really small. He is a small dude. I think Seattle, with the somewhat success they had last season, I think they'll do all right, and I'll win this game. Next up, Chicago Bears at the Kansas City Chiefs. They kind of hyped up this matchup to be the week of the game, and realistically, Kansas City hasn't been as promising either, but they won, barely. And Chicago has looked absolutely so bad to the point where Bears fans are already saying the season's over. And honestly, I think it is. They are right. Chicago looks terrible. I guess Kansas City will make the Chicago Bears 0-3 because realistically, it's Kansas City, and if the Packers and the Buccaneers beat you, Kansas City should too. All right, and the other primetime game, I guess, realistically, this is an absolutely terrible matchup, but the Dallas Cowboys at the Arizona Cardinals. At this point, when will Dallas face a good team? Seriously, Dallas will win this game again. I mean, come on. All right, Sunday Night Football. We have one of the biggest rivalries on Sunday Night Football. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Las Vegas Raiders. Obviously, we know why this is a rivalry, and, I think it's important. Usually, Vegas always beats them, and I think last year Pittsburgh did win, but this is one of the oldest rivalries ever, and, because of the Immaculate Reception and everything. But, honestly, if I got to pick, that Pittsburgh defense played fantastic. I'm not impressed with Vegas. I think Pittsburgh will win this one this time. All right, 2 Monday Night Football games once again. Apparently, because of the strike, they're adding more games on Monday. I figured that would happen. They're probably going to flex games on ABC. So don't be surprised if I hold off on my videos, because there could be schedule changes and things of that. But if not, I mean, the game's still a game, and I feel like what'll happen is what'll happen. 2 games. We got the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Somehow both these teams are 2-0. Philly is 2-0 because, yes, they're a good team. And Tampa Bay is 2-0, yes, because I have no idea. Yeah, I feel like, let's just say Philly gives Tampa their first loss. That should be what happens. And then next up, we have the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, the Rams, despite everything, of how young of a team they really are, there's actually not, but that's realistically what it is. If Matthew Stafford's healthy and their whole team is healthy, the Rams are actually good. If they're not, they're bad. But Cincinnati, on the other hand, if they lose this game and go 0-3, there might be some time to panic, after especially giving him a max contract. I'm just going to say that Cincinnati will probably win, hopefully should win this game. They started 0-2 last year, so I think a lot of people aren't panicking. I think they're just off to a slow start. But being realistic, I'm going to say Cincinnati gets it done here. So if you like what you see, subscribe below and comment with your thoughts. And as always, we will see you next time.